Who's not ready? Shit, I thought I was ready. Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready for some boom, baby, boom? Rise and shine. It's nothing but blue skies this morning. There ain't a cloud in the sky, and I got the place all to myself. I'm taking in the morning slow. I'm processing life in general. And it turned out while I was watching another YouTube channel, he said something to the effect of, look at my shirt falling apart. Man, Saints Addiction, this hot water here just totally tore up my shirt, but I still have the power. I still have the power. And the power comes from the inside. This is why I'm having this conversation this morning, is because we don't say the quiet part out loud. You know, I was saying the other time, I think I was saying like read between the lines, or say what you really mean, or I forgot what the exact quote for the title of the show was, but it's true. We don't say the quiet part out loud. We whisper it inside, and that's the only person listening. Us listening to ourselves, give ourselves an excuse or a way out or a reason why we are doing what we're doing instead of actually establishing what we're doing. I was talking about a culling, of a herd that they're culling off, or that they were, what was the other word that they were using? When you're a fish and you're in the middle of the fish herd, if you stay outside of what was the word that they used? That bundle of fish, now you become susceptible of being picked off and at risk. And we do a lot of things inside of ourselves, especially with addiction, to minimize or mitigate risk. We're constantly in that level where we're trying to get somebody to be safe, or act a way that we want them to act, or behave in a certain manner. And the point of it all is there's nothing else but your behavior. There's not what someone else is doing. It's what you are doing that matters the most. And that's why saying the quiet part or the silent part out loud means that you're really having a conversation with yourself, with your being, the way that you actually are inside. You're having real words with yourself, a real conversation on the inside that most of us hide. That's that run and hide. That's that I don't want to know, because then I have to face it. And if I have to face it, then I got to feel it. And if I got to feel it, then it's going to make me feel a certain type of way. Fair enough. Fair to say. But I'm also here to say that I want to feel. Like I talked with my friend walking the streets. I want to walk the streets. I want to feel the energy and the last days of my knees. I'm not going to live forever. I even said we're going to just start walking around in the wheelchairs, just like a lifted chair, and just kind of roll around, like on a square, like a Wall-E, and just go around. But what was part of Wall-E, and the best part I was explaining to him, let's put a little hash in it, shall we? Join Weed Club. Someone just messaged Join Weed Club. And the message I said to him is, I don't want to survive. I want to thrive. And that has a risk element to it. That has a little bit of danger. That has a little bit of pain. But is it more than the pain that we already have in our brain? That's the big question of this whole conversation. Is it's like you're trying to maybe outlie or deny or be subversive, but your subconscious isn't subversive. It's subdermal, right? It's below your skin, and it's inside your mind, and it's inside your soul. But you're the one listening. So it's like the secrets that we whisper, we're listening to. And that was like, oh shit, aha moments. Like, what are you telling yourself? You know what I mean? What are the in between, underneath it all? Do you really love me? Yes, I do, Gwen Stefani. Underneath it all. Lyrics on shirts, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where underneath it all, we're all kind of hybriding and habitating in a certain format. We're either forming to the herd, or we're thinking for ourselves. We're either going with the flow, or going with what and that's the habits. The habits make us go after those things. The habits make us chase our tails. The habits get us in repeat cycles that we can't see our way out of. And that's the quiet part out loud. It's not that oh no, I wanted this hairstyle because Jennifer Aniston had it. No, you want to repeat what Jennifer Aniston has so that you can have it. A lot of us are on that repetitive jealousy or continual jealousy where we see somebody else living their blessed life, or at least that's what we think we see. And then we're on some, why don't I have that? I want a D1 athlete boyfriend, but there's only one of him. Okay, so let's all sleep with him instead of let me go participate in track and field. No, I'm just going to do my hairs and curls and show up to every what is she at? I see one of my friends, she's a really pretty girl, but she's trying to get her a basketball man, and I don't think the wives are going to let her in. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Everybody wants a baller, shot caller, wish they were taller. But saying that part is out loud is the easy part. That's a rap lyric, you know? What you're not saying is, you know, I really want somebody to support me financially. Or I would make me feel secure to have a tall man. Or I just want the other girls to be jealous and not have them. You know, that's a hard thing to say. It was like, oh, I only married you so the other girl couldn't have you. Whoa, shots fired across the bow. Who just said what? You know what I mean? And I was only dating you because you wanted to have children. Or maybe it was just sex. Who knows? You know, we're having these real conversations with ourselves, not the outside world, because the outside world transmutates it. It's going to manipulate you in a comparison, especially with social media. It's going to have you looking in a different direction, looking outside yourself for like maybe what is it? What is the word I want to talk about? What's the C word? Consumption and purchasing your way out of your feelings. And that's all they're offering you. They're not offering you a super duper Louis Vuitton like the Japanese people waiting in Helsinki for. No, it's the same Louis Vuitton in Japan as it is in Helsinki. But what they really want to look like is the ability that they have made it. That feeling that like, yeah, I'll wait in the Louis Vuitton line in Esplanade Street just so everybody can look at me. And that's what I want to feel. I want them to feel the jealousy. Instead of me being jealous all the time, I want you to be jealous with my happy, even though I'm not really happy. I just posted that. And then, you know, as soon as I start posting, the smile turns into a frown and it turns upside down. And I don't even really notice what's really going on because I'm captivated by comparison instead of compassion. You know, like I have no gratitude. I just have attitude. And my attitude stinks because I'm over here comparing myself to stinky people. That's saying it. You know what I mean? That's really saying what you really mean. You know, say it with your chest. And not many people want to stick their chest out. They don't want to really express what's going on inside. It's scary to them. You know, the anxiety of not knowing, the indecision, the undescribed future. You know, we want everything to be planned and perfect. And I got news for you, son. I got 99 problems. But my inner talk ain't one. And that's what I wanted to be. You know, I wanted to have conversations with me and be like, Mark, you probably should really throw this shirt out and rip this part off, but I just can't let it go. And why can't I let things go? And why do my friends hang out with succubus women? And why is my other friend married a chick that already had kids? Is because he's simping and not pimping. And why are we repeating the same behaviors over and over again and expecting different results? This is the question. This is the whole definite inner dialogue that needs to take place and needs to happen. And that's why I'm having this conversation this morning. You know, I'm having the morning motivation, if it wants to participate, you know, with myself. What's going on down here? Somebody doing some shit? Looks like some construction noises and shit. But I have the power. I have the power to talk to myself differently. I have the power to change my perspective. And I have the power to make my mind go in a different direction. And that's most important. More than anything is listening to the whispers on the inside, not the outside, because everybody's convincing themselves of a lie. So that's already denial. And then you're going to defend and depose, right? So you're already in denial. And then you're going to defend yourself like, no, this is what I really want. Did you really want it? Or were you comparing with someone else and now you want it? You want the girlfriend that he has. You want the opportunities that he has. Instead of creating your own opportunities, you'll look at someone else and say, give it to me, baby. Look how beautiful it is out here. I'm telling you, there's somebody doing some kind of construction going on over here, but it's absolutely beautiful. I watched a triple sunset, maybe quadruple sunset, go through touchdown, and then go through again, and then go through again. And I was just like, wow, what a blessing. I need to just put my phone down, appreciate a good sunset, and just live my life in that moment. Not chase a message, not chase a girl, not chase other options, but just be in my own moment and be with myself. And it was just amazing to feel that way. And that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to stay in the feels, the good feels, and not the negative feelings or the distractions or other things like that. It's like, what are my conversations like? Not with other people, not with other people, but with myself. That's the only conversation that needs to take place, is that, am I doing this because of a real reason? What's my definite aim, my definitive aim, the thing I'm going for the most? Or is it the distraction and I was just trying to get past the feeling? I talked to my friend Lily the other day. She went all the way to Brazil and for a friend, and her friend flaked on her. And she's like, man, I got groped in the airport, and I got to go get a bunch of chocolate to make myself feel better and not violated. And it was just like, that's what we do. We'll be like, I don't feel good inside. Where's my ice cream? Where's my chocolate? Where's my shirt that won't fail me? Looking for something external, when the truth is you need to focus on your internal and the way you're pointing your bipolarity. And that's where your true north is. It's not for someone else to determine it. It's not for it to be definitive. It's for it to be interpreted properly through a prism that is our mind and our perspective. When we have healthy perspective, not perspective, that's our perception is already altered. It's already in denial. It's already in comparison. It's already jaded, right? We have a bias towards ourselves and what we think the image is of ourselves. That's our ego. But the ego is not the amigo. So what you're really going to have to do is have a real conversation with you. That's the tough one. That the motherfucker's been knocking at your door since you try to go to bed at night. You're like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Let me drink some more. No, let's ignore that. Let's let time pass by, heal all wounds. Or nope, I don't want to learn my lessons. I want to swallow my pride. All of us never had a lie. It's just what it is, and that's just what it's going to be. But that's what I see. I see people scraping things. I can hear the construction. I can see the shoveling. I knew something was going on, but why are they doing that during the morning motivation? Let's light it up and let's forget them. Ready, set, go. Blessings, join We Club. That's what it is. It's a secret conversation, secret contracts we have with ourselves, little whispers that you're not really saying. Maybe it's the slant of an eye. Maybe it's rolling of the eyes. Maybe it's a little shrug that people make on. Women are really good at looking at this, by the way. As a man, you can roll your eyes all you want at me, homie, unless you buck if you nuck, nuck if you buck, right? But like, nothing else phases me. Not no little micro expressionism, but for a woman, it's everything. It's like, we got static. This person's after me. The ashes keep coming inside. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. It's raining on our own parade. Instead of living in our own reality, we want to live in a dystopia or a fantasy and pretend it to be okay instead of making it really okay, and fortifying our mind and giving it healthy perspective and giving it healthy outlets. We'll double down on some comparison. We'll double down on some, they got it and I don't. Instead of what I got and grateful for, I'm on some looking in your yard going like, he's got greener grass. You didn't even appreciate one blade of grass in your yard, and you're over there wondering why their grass is greener. When I was living at King Rama, who's totally blocked and deleted, King Rama said, shut this door. I don't want the smoke to go inside. King Rama's neighbor came over to me, and he was like, you see how his flowers haven't bloomed yet? And I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about, When I was in South Korea, one of my friends, he was doing stand-up comedy. And he talked about going on a hike with a South Korean dude. They're big hikers there. They're really into mountain climbing. And the dude was just like, cherry blossom, best in South Korea. There's cherry blossoms in London. There's cherry blossoms in Finland, but apparently they're the best in Korea. Oh, waterfall, best in Korea. And it's like, really? There's waterfalls in Croatia. There's waterfalls in South Africa. There's waterfalls just about everywhere. But no, he was nationalist. And then you go, this is all called spring. Everybody experiences spring. Spring is happening. That's why these guys are doing all this construction and moving the plants and doing everything. Spring is sprung. But for him, it was only in South Korea. It was only the best here, and that was all that it was going to be. It's always going to be outside of you. Then you're going to perceive it as someone else having more than you, as if you don't have the power inside you. I have the power. Come on now, I have the power. And that's what's important, to say I'm reinforcing me. I'm not having my comparisons dictate me. I'm not having somebody come around and make me into jealousy. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to do something with that fuel. We're going to do something with that fear. We're going to do something with that energy and make me move me. That'd be the biggest obstacle you could do, is make you move from a feeling to action, right? It's in action instead of reaction at Mostly Saints. And then to be able to have a healthy perspective with our thoughts and be like, is that what I really want? Or was that what I saw someone else have and they looked happier than me? You know, is that what I'm really after? Or is I'm just in a pole position and I'm trying to compete? Big questions. And everybody knows what I mean. Everybody's seen something and wanted it, you know, and maybe they wanted it because someone else had it. And because that person looked to be or perceived, or they convinced you that they believe, then you're in jealousy. Then you're flicking through your phone, getting worse off. Oh, that girl got kids. What's her husband look like? Oh, that guy got a girl. What's his car look like? Oh, I bet he's got a lot of money. You know, instead of where am I working on my money? You know, what am I working on, instead of looking at them doing the work? You know, it's not a healthy perspective to have a perception of other people's happiness. It's pretty much your job to work on the inside and create your own happiness. And this is where people mess up. They go after somebody else's happy, thinking that's going to make them happy. It's like, ooh, your food. I get food jealous. Like, what you ordered looks so good. And you would be looking over at them and you'd be like, can I have a bite? That's jealousy. That's envy. That's our wrath coming out. Like, dude, people will kill for someone else's girlfriend, wife, position. They've done it throughout the ages, you know, toppling the king. You think you want to be king till you got king headaches. Being king means you got king-size headaches. Being in power means you have great responsibility. And most people want to have that kind of jealousy. They want to have that envy. They want to see somebody else. And what Homeboy was saying, he was like, I like Kevin Samuels, and he does a lot of things, but he's like, I don't want to be that popular. You know, I like that people know me, but when people know you, and I've experienced this with my magazine, it's like they're looking at you, knowing more facts about you, and you don't know if they like you, if they hate you, but they have a perception of you before they even met you. Like, you know, that's a big thing. I went into fucking jail, and some dude's like, I remember your beard. You were rolling a big old blunt. And if it wasn't for a 6'6" black Crip leader, if he hadn't seen my magazine, I would have probably been in trouble, right? Recognition. Right? Affirmations. Not affirmations. What's the other one that we look for when we're looking for validation? That's the word I'm looking for. Someone else to validate that what we're thinking is okay, instead of us just being okay with ourselves. That's not an easy task to be. Most people want to stay in the herd. They want to stay with the mentality. They want to stay in the middle of the median of the learning curve and say, okay, I'm with the crowd here. I'm going to wear the black jacket because everybody else is wearing the black jacket, or I'm going to go to college because everybody else is going to college, or I'm going to fear if the FOMO is going to be real with me because they look like they're having more fun than me. Why don't you create your own fun? Why aren't you on the boat? Why didn't you go travel? Why didn't you risk something so you could be in that pole position? Most people, they're just in competition. They just don't want to see anybody else beat them. And I mean, to the red lights, to the fucking holding the doors, to racing to the front of a counter. People are in competition. They're just not saying those words out loud. And that's the quiet part. That's the silent part that we're not saying. Tiny whispers on a girlfriend. There's a kind of surprise. Is it in your eyes? You don't want to have jelly eyes, bro. You don't want to be the kind of person that sees lies and believes it. You don't want to have FOMO and think that other people got it that much better. We're constantly filled with that kind of programming from each other. We want them to be like, yeah, I'm having the blessed time, so I'm not dying inside. And instead of being real about, I'm dying inside, I need some help, we'll double down on our pride, we'll double down on our ego, and we'll double down on our image. Instead of working on the inside, we'll work on the outside. Let me go buy some clothes. They won't like me if I don't have a chain. I'll never find love if I don't have money. We'll put obstacles and barriers in front of our ultimate goals, and we'll be like, yep, that's the reason it stopped me. She didn't love me. Or is it you didn't love yourself, bro? That's a hard question to follow yourself. Maybe you were dating wrong. Maybe you were dating familiarity. Most people don't want to even have that kind of conversation. Most people don't want to even face that demon, and they'll be like, oh shit, I was doing that because I wanted my mom's attention or my dad's approval or I just wanted people to like me. You know, I was watching Trump, and then Donald Trump was like, she got her boobs done. He got, what's her face? Not Melania. She probably got a boob job too, but what was Trump's first wife? She got the boob job, and he's like, I don't like them. She's like, you motherfucker, I didn't even want them. You made me get them. He's like, yeah, they're plasticky. I don't like you anymore. So not only did he make her get a boob job, but then he didn't even appreciate her after she got a boob job. And no wonder why Ivanka left. She was just like, fuck this egomaniac, bro. You can never please him. He's always on his own fucking thing, and he's always going to push me down so he can level me up. Those are real conversations that people have, but they don't want you to say that. They want to take the pictures. They want to look like the perfect couple. They rather have you believe than them believe in themselves. And that's where we go wrong, bro. That's where first we go right, then we go wrong. And we trip ourselves up. And only a fool trips over something behind them. You want to be prepared. You want to choose your mood. You want to be like, my destiny is my own and not in comparison with somebody else. That's the ultimate task, is to be happy with what you got. What's the topic, Johnny B? We're talking about the title of today's morning motivation is to talk about the silent parts. You know, they always talk about, you know, it's easy to say stuff out loud, but it's the conversation that we have inside that we're not really saying out loud. We're saying the silent part out loud. And then you're like, oh, that's why I dated that kind of person. Oh, that's why I went after that college degree. Or, oh, that's why I chose that job. You know, it's not from an internal thing. It's usually coming from jealousy. I wanted to get I wanted to be my dad's boss. You know, that's why I went for engineering. Turned out it was a lot of math. And I was like, okay, maybe that's not my path. Okay, I like people. Or I thought I was going to be an archaeologist, right? Yeah, let's be an archaeologist. I wanted to be like Indiana Jones. Turns out it's just a lot of boring time in the middle of the desert. I was like, maybe that's not for me. And then it goes into, well, I really like people. Let me go into psychology. I still don't use my degree. I use the knowledge of people with sales, but it's not like I get to go and be a psychologist. I don't get to prescribe people medicine. That's not what I'm not even allowed to do that. You know what I mean? I guess I'm just allowing myself to give free advice on the internet. You know what I mean? But if it wasn't for a dream, if it wasn't for pure determination, I could just see me having that dog inside me. And that's the silent part out loud. The Saints addiction, this guy right here with the logo, you know, this little logo right here that's all frumpled, right? I was just like, man, that would be the biggest dream, is own a business, go into the city, do the business deal, and then have lunch and take double the time for lunch than it did for the deal. And then also to have beautiful women wearing my clothing and getting paid off of it, so that way I could keep traveling. And then when I'm traveling, it'll be the most perfect weather, like it is right now today. in the most perfect part of the planet, this motherfucker sun ain't set until like 3 a.m. and it's still kind of up. This is fucking crazy. But that's what we do in our brains. We go inside of it and go, are we pumping ourselves full of truthful talk, or are we pumping ourselves full of lies? Are we telling the truth, or are we living a lie? And most of us want to live the lie. It's way easier to stay in denial and lie to ourselves, lie to our consciousness and our subconsciousness and the outside world. The masks, the layers, the outside world, your friends and family, and you, all three masks are lying to you. And we're just like, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, because now you're on I'm chasing somebody else's approval instead of approving of me. You know what I mean? And that's our destiny. This fucking pissed me off so bad, but I just can't let it go. I'm gonna have to like throw this shirt away or keep it for memory's sake. That's what it is. It's a silent conversation that's exhibited through action, and we didn't even know that we took action. We just went after, we wanted to have fun, or that'll make me happy, or all my friends were doing it, right? And like they used to say back in the day, if your friends were jumping off a cliff, would you? Probably. You probably would, because not thinking for yourself, following the herd. The Pied Piper literally makes the rats go over the cliff, and they don't give a fuck about you, right? They're trying to save themselves too. So all of them are in a culling, all of them are swimming, and it's all the other people that don't want to stick out, don't want to be themselves, don't want to think for themselves. No, that's too risky. People might judge me, and then if they judge me, then I have to feel their feelings instead of feel my own, and then I'm taking an action because of that feeling, and now I'm going into depression or comparison because I was on focused outwardly on what they were thinking or what they might think, instead of what am I thinking? What am I doing? Where am I going? And none of those questions seem to really matter to most motherfuckers. This is just like, I'm going to the store because I wanted cigarettes. Yeah. I went on the trip because my friends were going. Everybody else went to that college that I knew. Familiarity makes a lot of decisions. Safety makes a lot of decisions. Groupthink makes a lot of decisions. Groupthink was a motherfucker when they first discovered it. A woman got killed, stabbed like 66 times with 66 witnesses, and everyone else watched from the windows in a New York City thinking everyone else was going to call. And no one did. And they did the research on this, and then they just went from each apartment that was a witness, say, hey, I saw a murder, right? Well, it's like, I like to say, if I saw a train, I would scream out train. But some people don't want to scream out train or the emperor is naked, because they stick out. Nobody wants to speak the truth. It's better to live the lie, right? He wants to believe that he's not naked. Fine. We all love his clothing. Don't want to piss off the king. Don't want to make a bully angry. Don't want to have any conflict. They say that you've never stood up for anything if you never had any haters. If you were always just agreeable and got along with everyone, you're just a people pleaser. That's not going to make you happy in the end. You're going to end up sacrificing your life and your time for someone that didn't even notice. So this is why I keep saying, we got to keep a balance. There's got to be a homeostasis. We got to have those secret conversations out loud, and we got to start making our consciousness, our subconsciousness, more conscious. That we're aware of the real reasons why we're doing what we're doing and why we're chasing it. And then you got to ask yourself the Napoleon Hill question of all time: what's my definite aim? Like, what am I really after? Was I doing that to impress my dad? Maybe that's a subconscious behavior. And then why do I go so hard and overextend myself to other people when I just want them to approve of me and keep the peace? It's like, sometimes you might have to ruffle a few feathers. Sometimes you might have to wreck off your bike. Not all things are that smooth, but a lot of us are looking for the easiest path instead of challenges. We want problems, and that's why I switched it. I was just like, I don't even use the word problem anymore. I use the word challenge, and immediately it's an obstacle course that I can overcome. The other ones make it seem insurmountable. I'm indestructible. So if that's the case, then guess what? This too shall pass too, and then I'll make myself on to the next place, and then I'll go do the next thing and appreciate the time in between. That's the best thing you can do in your life, is enjoy the passing of time. If you're over in comparison, that's not enjoyment. If you are in competition, that's not enjoyment. And if you are not in consciousness, then you're in out of consciousness. You're pumping yourself full of not enjoyable subconscious behaviors, thoughts, and patterns. And that's what we'll do. We'll just be like, oh yeah, you know what? That's what I'll do. I'll just keep repeating, doubling down on my stupidity, and making sure other people believe instead of me believing. And that was the biggest switch. I was just like, okay, I need to believe. I need to believe in myself. And I've overcome some challenges, and I'm down for a challenge. I embrace and drive change. And then it's a welcomed opportunity instead of an obstacle. And that's why I say, by the end of this journey, I will be different and in a better shape than when I begun. And it says you don't have to be great to begin, but you do have to begin to be great. And that's this morning's motivation. If you got anything out of this, you already know. Peace and love. And Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever, and finish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, or subscribe. But the other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world, because that's where I am, dude. I'm here. That's Finland down there. And I'm just like, wow, man, I get everywhere. I'm in the top of Peru, Cusco, climbing Machu Picchu, and I just look at my air coming out of my mouth, and I'm like, man, you got this far. Why can't you get these websites up? Now we got in a sec, site in a sec, and all the websites are getting populated in seconds. Get out of your own way. There's a possibility. Peace.